All right, welcome back to another Back Half Hustle, where Terri Kelley and I talk to you, business owners in real estate, realtors, real estate agents, consultants, advisors, all these other different names. But at the end of the day, you are a business owner to help you elevate your business by things that maybe you didn't know, maybe you need reassurance on, or whatnot. So, Terri, what are we talking about today?
I think today we should touch on foreclosures and a little bit about understanding homeownership.
Okay, awesome. So what about foreclosures? How do we know if or are they on a rise?
So, when you talk about real estates, from the real estate agent perspective, you could go to their courthouse, and your courthouse has to publicize anything that is going to start active foreclosures. So, you could get on a list from your county websites. When we say they're on the rise, they truly are. And the reason we know this is because we're starting to see a lot of HUD home store homes list again. We're
Mm,
starting to see sales at the courthouse steps again. And you don't really pay attention to it until you get a buyer that actually wants to buy that, right? Because there's a certain select group of people that have registered with HUD to become the listing agents for that. So of course they know who it is.
yeah.
And one other thing I would suggest is finding out who those people are in your area and becoming their friend so that they can tell you too. But I think more so than anything, what we need to focus on is education from the real estate perspective on not having to go into foreclosure.
Yeah.
So
So,
when I say that, go ahead.
yep. So real quick, right? Are foreclosures on a rise?
Yes.
Yes, right. I'm reading that, US foreclosures, right? Every town, every state, everything's different. So, like Terri said, you got to go to the courthouses. You got to do your due diligence as an agent, right? And find this information. But U.S. foreclosures are on the rise with a year-over-year increase in the past 6 consecutive months. They say primarily due to affordability pressures from high borrowing costs and stretched household finances, which is true, right?
Right.
Tariff, inflation, all this stuff. Our household finances have been more and are more stretched now because everybody now has to raise the bar on their prices, whether you go down the street to lunch, whether you're buying your groceries, your gas, everything, right? So, yes, in August of 2025, it says that there were almost 36,000 properties with foreclosure filings, which is an 18% increase from the previous year.
Yep.
18%. Now, like you mentioned, the education part, Terri, why are there so many foreclosure, filings when us as agents know that there's these properties have probably a ton of equity and there are ways for them to avoid foreclosure and not have to do it?
Well, because it's client understanding. So people don't know, like I'm going into foreclosure. They don't know that there's a way to save that. They don't know that they have the equity. They don't know because either number one, we're not reaching out to them as past clients and letting them know. Me personally, I have every single one of my clients put on a program where they get everybody who's closed with me gets an email every month with their home values. So that's one way for them to know. But two, just us having that simple touch, like, has your life changed? Has anything happened? I did a video last week that just simply said, hey, if you're struggling, reach out to me because there are ways, there are modifications. If you have bought a house prior to 2023, you have equity. Now, if you bought it in 24 or 25, maybe not. But 23 and before, you have plenty of equity. There's no reason you should lose your home. You also have the misconception, and I know this from back in '06, '07 when the market truly did crash. People don't know. They think that they have to hold their house long term. They don't know that they can sell it. They don't know that there's different options to get out. And they don't know the process. They think that, well, if I sell it, I'm going to lose everything anyway, so I may as well just stay here until they kick me out. But the reality is, what if you sold it today and put 20 grand in your pocket? Now you're not killing your credit. You can move and you can put money in your pocket.
And I think that right there, that last one, real quick, that you mentioned, there's a lot of homeowners whose egos get in the way because when it comes to 20,000, I've had this house for 2 years. I need to be making more. Their egos sometimes get in the way and they rather go into foreclosure than make 10,000, 5,000, and walk
A
away
dollar.
from it clean, right? It's so crazy because I've talked to people in the past. They're like, is that all I'm gonna, make? Well, I'd just rather lose it. And I'm like, whoa, 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 what did you just say? So you rather go
Mhm.
into foreclosure or file, they're talking about file bankruptcy, right? Or something like that. And it's just like, it doesn't make sense, right? Because it's like you can avoid all this stuff that will prohibit you to buy a home in the future, by just making $5,000. Like,
But
it's
reality is too,
insane.
as agents, we should be educating them. Like
Yeah,
again, real estate should never be an emotional decision. Not buying, not selling, not anything. It should always be a financial decision.
yeah,
A lot of times we want to go in and have, oh, I've lived here 30 years. Doesn't matter. If your mortgage ain't paid and you're about to lose it, go make some money on it. Period.
yeah. And that's the thing, education. So agents, this is what you're going to do, right? You're going to do what Terry just said. You're going to make a video and you're just going to, your avatar, the person you talk to are homeowners, right? To set potential sellers and just mention, hey, are you struggling? Is your mortgage payment becoming behind? If so, there's options for you to avoid foreclosure. You're probably sitting on a ton of equity if you've purchased prior to 2023. And if not, there's still some things that we could do if you just bought it in the past year or two. But previous 2023, you have some equity that we can look at, give you options on, and determine what you need to do to avoid foreclosure. So if this speaks to you, DM me. I'm happy to have a private, confidential meeting with you to give you options to help you avoid foreclosure. Boom.
Great. And then
Something
what's
like
the
that,
next step?
right?
What's the next step?
The next
Go
step,
freaking learn what to actually do because you got to be able to help your client. So
exactly.
go learn what the true foreclosure process is. Go learn how to stop it. Go learn all the dates and all the deadlines and all the things because if you don't know and you make that video and people call you, you're going to look a little crazy by
Yep.
not actually doing
Yep.
your research.
All right. So give me some tips real quick for agents on where they need to go. Because like I'll just use me for an example, right? I don't know where to go. How do I go get this information before I make this video, Terry, to make sure I don't look like an idiot?
I mean, you can always go back to Old Faithful ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to be the real estate agent that specializes in foreclosure properties. Tell me the steps to help me help my clients. You can go to majority of the big lenders' websites and they'll tell you the steps to avoid foreclosure. So there's plenty of training things out there. The key thing to know is the sale date because that's the day that things start. And you need to know what your state requirements are for the true foreclosure process and timeline. And so once you know those basics, you're going to be able to better help guide. And they are state specific. So definitely check your local state requirements.
So local state requirements, check out from the big banks, but the most important thing is the sale date. So what is the difference between a foreclosure and a short sale?
So foreclosures is when they actually start the process to take the house. Short sales is when, let's say the 24, 25s, they don't have enough equity, right? So a short sale will actually allow the bank to take a little bit less than what's truly owed on the property so that they can actually sell it. Banks don't want those houses back. They don't want them at all.
They're
And
not
truth
in
be
the real
told,
estate business, right? They're not in the
not.
buy and hold. They're give me my money.
And truth be told, by the time you get to the HUD, like HUD home store homes, they're taking a loss on it anyway. So if they could take a little less of a loss on the front end, they would much rather do that. Now, short sales are they're a pain in the rear sometimes. They take a little bit of time. Um, but again, you can go get the knowledge on how to actually work a short sale. I will tell you from experience, the best thing to do is to have you a spreadsheet with all the different banks and all their different requirements so that if you do end up having to help a client, you know who their asset managers are, you know all of the things that you need to submit to have a true short sale package that goes in. Back when I was doing them, really before I got back into real estate as a whole, that's all I did. So I managed an office that's what we did was do short sales and loss mitigation. I went to every single bank on their website. It has a short sale package. It has their requirements. It has all the people that are in the transaction. I mean, it has everything. So from the day that a client called and said, hey, I'm struggling, we looked at can you sell it and make money or do you need to short sale it? And if they needed to short sale it, I could have that pre-filled package ready to go. I could have all the the authorizations because you got to get disclosures to sign off and etc. And I could say, okay, here, fax it in, and the next day we're helping them. So if you want to go down the rabbit hole of actually trying to help clients come out of these processes, really take the time to study that because it
Yeah.
is a little bit of a lengthy process.
Yeah. So agents, you got to understand if you do want this as one of your niches, right? You want to be the specialist of short sales or foreclosures. One, you got to have patience because it's
Hmm.
not overnight success. It is
Nope.
not like a retail, let's just put your house on the market, get it. You got plenty of time and equity, nobody's behind and sell it, right? It takes time, like Terry said. You got to know the process beforehand, right? Don't go into a consultation or a meeting with a homeowner or a seller after you because you rushed and put that video out there and you know no knowledge of it. They're not going to trust you. You just wasted your time and theirs, right? So do what Terry said. Do your due diligence. Become the expert. Have these packages ready to go. So when you do create that video finally, people start hitting you up, and then you go to these consults, you get that listing because you had it and you were prepared and you knew what to do, right? And at least know the majority of it, and then right afterwards you can figure out during the process. But the key things you got to know up front and be able to educate these homeowners, these sellers for it. Because if you don't, you're gonna look like an idiot, just point blank.
Well, and I'll say this too. On the other side of it, there are going to be investors that maybe only want to make a few dollars off of a flip, and they may be the ones you need to have in your pocket too to say, okay, if I get this short, you're going to buy it, and then you're going to do whatever you do with it. I will tell you that based off experience, back then it was really, really bad. So shorts would be, 60, 70, $80,000 less than the value of the home. You're not going to see that in today's world. You're probably going to see a little bit more of true value to get the house sold. The asset managers and the BPO specialists, they're going to want to price the property a little more aggressive, but at least recapping all that's owed. If you want to make a little bit of money on a side hustle, you could become a BPO agent. If you know what that is, it's just broker price opinion. It's almost like doing a CMA for the banks. Um,
Only
I think
brokers
one
can do
called
that
me the
here.
other day. They're making like $100 a house.
Yeah, only brokers can do that in our area in Texas.
Oh, really? So yeah, state by state difference. But there's just it's another way to know what's happening out there. It's another way to be the agent that has the experience.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. That's what we talked about today. We talked about foreclosures. We gave you some steps of becoming a foreclosure short sale specialist and if you want to do it and how you can get leads from it, right? We got you covered all bases. So, like we mentioned, if you want to do it, do your due diligence first, right?
Yep.
All right, Terry, anything else you got to add to that?
Nope, I would just say now is the time. You may have listings that are sitting because of price, so this may be an opportunity. Definitely educating your sellers or educating your past clients that may be struggling. Remember, we're here to care about the people. We're not here just to make a dollar.
Yeah. And remember, this is the time because a lot of agents, they stop. Starting now, October 28th, they stop. They don't do anything these next couple of months because of the holidays and traveling and preparing and this. So they let off the gas while you can put your foot on the gas, become the expert, and take over because we're going to start seeing more and more and more foreclosures as, like we mentioned, household finances are being stretched and these high borrowing costs that they may have got in the past. I know a lot of people who are on arms and now their time due, and it's like, oh shit, today's rate arm. No, let's sell it, right? Or whatever it is. So, guys, now is the time. Keep your foot on the pedal and go out there and crush it. All right.
Okay.
Stay tuned, subscribe, like, share this with other agents so that you can add value to them. And be sure to be back next week where we're going to talk about something different. Till then,
Yep.
see you later.
Are you stopping?